Welcome to Dream by Design with Melissa Banks. I'm your host, Melissa Banks. Thank you for joining us today. We have another amazing woman to share her journey with us and how she has been able to keep going despite the circumstances. Our guest today is Chanelle Coleman Wesley. Chanelle is a best-selling author, coach, speaker, just to name a few of the things that she do. Welcome to the show, Chanelle.
Hi, Melissa. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to come to your show.
I am so excited to talk to you. I've been watching you all year. You have been on fire. You've been speaking and traveling and just doing so much. Congratulations on an amazing year.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. But you've had a great year too, Melissa. So you've been pretty busy yourself.
Thank you so much. I always like to start with your passion, and everybody who follows you, who hears you speak, know that you're passionate about empowering women. Share with us some ways that you do that.
Well, I try to empower women in anything that I do. Just being, first of all, being authentic of how I'm living my life. I like to empower women through books, through events, through speaking engagements, through courses. I believe that you need empowerment in a multifaceted ways, and so I try to provide that for women, just because everybody picks up information differently.
Absolutely. We met Chanelle, and a lot of our audience, this is how they got to know you as well through your best selling book. Congratulations on She Said Yes to Herself Unapologetically. Talk to us about why you wrote that book. What was the inspiration behind the book, and has the book impacted your own journey?
That's a good question. I like it. Actually, my first book, Naked and Not Ashamed, is what inspired She Said Yes. At the time, I was really heavy at YouTube University, and one of my instructors there said that in order to make the impact of your book, you have to write your next book. And so I'm thinking, okay, well, what do I want to write about? Who do I want to talk to? And so I just thought about, transparent conversations, and I had to look back over my life and recognize that there were times when I didn't say yes to myself. There were times when I finally found my yes, that it was very timid, very shy at first, bashful, but then over time it just really kind of developed and it became very bold. It became very unapologetic. And so that's really what happened with the name. Yes, the book has impacted me in so many ways. When I was writing it, I had no idea that it would turn into summits. I had no idea that it would turn into anthologies. I had no idea that it would turn into the movement that it's become. So it's just definitely been a humbling experience to watch.
I can imagine, you started out just writing a book, and now it's a whole movement, right? It's impacted so many women and so many women's lives. I was even noticing, and I'm not real familiar with, and I want you to help me with the Empower Her Guide, how it's connected to the book, if it's connected to the book, and do you need to read the book before you get the guide? Just talk to us little bit about the Empower Her Guide.
Sure. So we have two, and which can be confusing. So we have a She Said Yes that starts off with me, that's 21 principles. And then we have a She Said Yes that has the stories of 31 authors who are also saying yes to themselves. And so the 21 principles that I provide kind of provided the platform or the foundation. And these women came from all over the world to be able to share their story in this book. And it's just been something that's been amazing that in itself. Some people were first time writers telling their story authentically, which was very powerful. And then we had some very seasoned writers who are very accomplished, people like Dr. Velma Bagby, people like Dr. Audrey Ann Moses and Laquita Parks. And so we had a number of people who were bringing their expertise, but they weren't doing it in a space from a professional hat per se, more of having like a transparent conversation with their sister. You know what I mean? And so it was a really impactful book with a really impactful message.
Okay, awesome. One of the things that's so powerful, I can remember when I first started sharing my story, the very first time I ever shared my story on stage. And what you do and what I do, the similarity is that we make women understand that yes, it's okay that you had this journey. Yes, it's okay to heal from that journey and then share it. I found that sharing your story empowers both you and the person that hears your story. So thank you for sharing that. If you're just joining us, you're watching Dream by Design with Melissa Banks, and today our guest is Chanelle Coleman Wesley. She's a best-selling author, entrepreneur, coach, speaker, trainer. She does it all. So let's talk about your speaking, and that you have been just so amazing, and we were honored this year to have you as a speaker on the Imagine the Possibilities virtual conference. That you just inspired us all. I still feel chills when I think about your presentation that day. But I was looking at some of your topics, and they get me excited just reading the topics like push, it's in you, or get up, sis. That's just so powerful. And faith over fear, just to name a few of the topics that you talk on. I would love for you to share with our audience the importance of these messages and what you hope the audience will walk away from when you speak.
I love that question, Melissa. I think that, so many times when you have accomplished certain things, people can begin to put you on a pedestal and think that the journey was always this way. But the journey wasn't always this way. And you have to go through a certain amount of, pain and difficulty. And these are the things that help to develop you, to put you in position to be able to, first of all, make yourself become accountable to run your race, but also to make you to look back and to pull someone else. And so it comes from a space of dealing with resilience, a space with dealing with transition, understanding how to pivot, knowing that, there are things and difficulties that we can face. I call them life cards, where people have disappointment, trouble, things that happen, but then they're able to maneuver and to pivot from those places. And so I've been in a space where I have been down. And so I've had to tell myself, get up. And I've had a point where I felt like I can't do anymore. And I had to tell myself, look, push, it's in you. So these are not things that are just cliche and that they sound like good sound bites, but these are things that I've actually had the ability to be able to transition from. And there's nothing like being able to reach back and to help someone else in their journey.
Absolutely. That's so powerful. Chanelle, this show basis is on sharing not only the success, you've had great successes and you had some moments that you were cheering, but on this show, we want to not only cheer for the juicy good stuff, as I say, but also share that stuff because that you had to push through, because that's the stuff that helps another person who's listening know that, what, today is a bad day, but get up tomorrow and do it again. So those types of things, that's the basis of this show. So thank you for sharing that. What I would love for you to share with us, Chanelle, is some challenges that you faced on this journey. I know that we talk about it all the time. It's not easy all the time. There's some celebration, but there's some stuff that you have to deal with to just not take no for an answer. You didn't just get here, wake up this morning, everything was in place. You had to go through some stuff, and I just believe that. So share with us some challenges that you faced and how you were able to overcome them.
I think, one thing that I would love to share is that, I am a survivor of sexual abuse. I think there was a point where I really saw myself as a victim, and it really helped to have a very constricting mindset. And I disconnect with telling my story, because when I told my story, I understood that it made people feel a way, their facial expressions, their body language, because of the details that I was sharing with them. And so it made me lose my voice. And so I didn't speak out about different things. And my aunt, she got me a book when I was 16, and it said, you're not a victim, you're a survivor. And that was the first time that I had heard that word or that terminology. And so I appreciated it because it helped to reshape what I was thinking and what I was experiencing and what I was going through. And so being able to navigate from that, and since finding my voice, I found out my power. I got my power back when I speak and when I write. And one of the people asked me a question, an interview question a couple of years ago, but that still impacted me to this day. They asked me, where do you write at? And I was thinking, like, should I tell them like a politically correct space that I write at? Because I'm thinking, like, I write in my bed, but I don't know if I should say that. But I'm like, okay, I have to tell the truth, because that's where I write at. I write in my bed, but I understand that it was once a place where my power was stripped from me, that it was a space that I felt vulnerable, a space where I felt used, a space where I felt naked, a space where I felt ashamed. But when I write, I've taken back my power because now I feel invincible. Now I feel like nothing can touch me. Now I feel unstoppable. Now I feel like I'm fierce. And so I felt like I had to be authentic to say, where I do my writing at, because that's where it is. And it wasn't until I said it that I realized where I write at. And I'm like, wow, that's very uncanny. The same space where I've cried at, the same space where I felt broken at, is the same place where I've gone to draw strength.
Wow, that's so powerful. So Chanelle, when you need encouragement, you need what do you do? Who do you go to if you go to someone? What is that moment like? Like, you know what, I'm full, I'm giving it my all. I just need some encouragement to keep going. Where do you get that from?
Ultimately, it's God. I do have amazing people like my family and friends who are very supportive of me. But one person who I can count on to love me in spite of myself, that's there with no judgments, with no condemnation, who accepts me, who embraces me, is God. And so I find that in prayer. I find that in the Word of God. I find that in just the different things that He gives to me, like a sunshiny day, and things that I see in nature or in my circumstance, that He shows me that He's still right there, despite if I became discouraged, despite if I fell off track, or I've backslidden, or I've done something that I wasn't supposed to do. He doesn't just reprimand me, He embraces me and He holds me and He makes me feel as if, I can do it again. I can get up and do it again.
Thank you for that, because I think it's so important for women to know that we don't get it right every day. And it's
Mm.
okay to feel overwhelmed for a moment and have that outlet, whether it's through writing, whether it's through prayer, or that person that you can call this to get you, shake you up and get you back on focus. You know, we all need that. So thank you for sharing that. What's next for you, Chanelle? What can we look forward to hearing from you?
Well, Melissa, I'm excited about this because I'm getting ready to drop the next book in the She Said Yes series. And
Wow.
that book, I'm excited. The book is entitled The Empower Her uh, Blueprint, Strategies for Women of Faith on the Rise. And this book is going to be very impactful because it's going to be able to speak to women. In the first book, we had a breakup, because sometimes you think the other person is the issue, but sometimes you're the issue. And sometimes you have to break up with that toxic version of yourself. And then we had a pledge. In this book, we have a daily mantra that I want you to say. We do an empowering affirmation. We have a also personal declaration, and then we go into so many different principles, like the table, understanding the space that you hold and the people that come into connection with you. And we talk about so many things. Push sis is in you, that's in there. I actually wrote that into things. It was a speech that I did back in Arizona when I was there earlier this year, and I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm going to transcribe this and put this into words and bring it into the book. It's very impactful. We talk about the roots. I'm trying to think of the exact title, but it talks about those things that we cover up, the ugly things of our past that we don't like to talk about. And many times we're exhibiting behaviors and things that have really stemmed from things that we haven't addressed. And sometimes we have to unpack and go there, and it may seem and feel like an ugly place, but in order to be able to change the fruit, we have to expose that root. And so we talk about that. And there's just so many impactful experiences, things that I'm excited about. I'm excited I'm going to finally meet Dr. Vilma Bagby and Dr. Audrey Ann Moses at the Christian Book Lovers Retreat on the first weekend of October. And I'm also excited because I'm going to be going to Phoenix, and I'm going to be helping to be one of the bridge builders who are going to speak to over 500 women. We're going there to be able to impact women for a day of healing. I'm hoping to be able to go in there and to inspire women. I don't want them to leave the same way that they came in.
Wow, I'm excited already, and I'm a little bit jealous. I'm just going to tell you that you're going to get to meet Dr. Velma.
I know.
I'm jealous about that. Let's just put it on the record. But I'm so excited for you, and I'm excited
Thank
about that
you.
new book. When you were talking about that new book, it was already exciting and powerful. So I cannot wait for that to come out, and I'm sure our audience will too. But thank you, Chanelle. This has been such an amazing conversation. One thing I would like for you to do before we wrap up is What advice do you have for someone who's hearing your voice, your powerful voice right now? They know they're supposed to be doing something, it's in their belly, they just haven't gotten the strength to say yes to it yet. Or maybe it's that person that heard your voice just now and they did say yes, but it got hard and now they're thinking of quitting. And it may be a person who heard your voice and it was hard, it was complicated, it was overwhelming, and they did quit. What advice would you have for them?
I'm going to say press start. I had a conversation with my sister the other day, and she was talking about this coaching program that she's involved in. And she was like, I'm setting everything up, but I haven't pressed start yet. And I said, well, sis, like, you got to press start. She was like, I know. And I said, you know what, I had to think about that because there were so many gems that I got from that just in my own journey. There are times in life that God has positioned us to be able to exercise faith over fear, to overcome limiting beliefs, to be able to step outside of our comfort zones, but we're scared to press start. And so I want to encourage her to press start. The tools that God has equipped her with, they are there. They're going to show up as she continues to perform, but she has to have a buy-in. She has to press start. And so I want to say to you on today, if you are listening under the sound of my voice, that you need to press start on your goals, on your dreams, on your aspirations. The greatest person, your greatest potential of who you are can become to be is waiting for you to show up. She's waiting for you to step out. She's waiting for you to say, I got this. And so you got to press start.
Wow, that is so powerful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being here. Let our audience know how they can stay connected with you and keep up with all these amazing things that you're doing.
Well, again, Melissa, I want to thank you again for allowing me to be able to be on this amazing platform. It's always a pleasure to connect with you. Viewers can connect with me on social, Chanelle Coleman Wesley, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And they can also connect with me, email she said yes to herself at gmail.com, or they can even look me up at she said yes to www.shesaidyestoherself.com.
Wow. Thank you again, Chanelle. This has been absolutely amazing. And thank you to our audience for joining Dream by Design with Melissa Banks. I'm your host, Melissa Banks, saying all your dreams are possible. Believe in yourself, work hard, and don't quit. Until next time, go have an amazing day.